The unwaking. I woke up again last night. At least, I thought I did. The room was dim and unfamiliar. Dust hung in the air like suspended time. The bed beneath me felt stiff, colder than memory allows. I tried to sit up, but something resisted, not physically, but as though the air itself had grown thick, like molasses, and every movement bled into the next. I told myself this was a dream. But it wasn't one I could control. I wasn't flying, nor falling, nor naked in a crowd. This was just existence. And that made it feel all the more real. There was a mirror across the room. Oval. Ornate. The kind you might find in an old estate. I walked toward it, barefoot on wooden floors that creaked without pattern. In the reflection, my face looked paler than usual. My eyes, slightly too large. And behind me, a hallway where no hallway existed. When I turned around, it was there. That was the first night. Or maybe the 15th. The count slips, like breath in the cold. Every time I wake, I write down what I remember. Small things. The scent of burnt matches. A ticking noise under the floorboards. A woman humming a tune I swear I've never heard in life. I keep a notebook, or rather, I find it beside me each time I wake. Always the same brown leather, pages untouched but for my own scrawl. Some entries are in my handwriting. Others are not. The entries don't match my memory. One says, "Don't believe the man with no shadow." Another, "If you can hear the bells, it's already too late." And another, smudged in ink, "She's still here, in the layers between." I never remember writing them. One night, if it was night, I woke in a train carriage. The windows were blacked out, but I could feel movement. The rhythm of the tracks beneath, the shudder of metal and wood. There were passengers, silent and still, all facing forward. No one blinked. No one breathed. I touched the window. My reflection blinked, twice, while I hadn't. I screamed, but the sound made no impact. It slipped into the void like a stone into oil. I screamed, but the sound made no impact. It slipped into the void like a stone into oil. I tried to run, but the aisle stretched longer with each step. The lights flickered. One by one, the passengers began to turn their heads toward me, in perfect, slow motion. Their faces, blurred, shifting like smoke beneath glass. Then I woke. Back in the dusty room. Back with the mirror. And the hallway that shouldn't exist. I've stopped trusting the concept of morning. The sun rises differently in each place I wake, sometimes orange, sometimes blue. Sometimes it never rises at all. Once, I stood beneath 3 moons. Another time, I looked outside and saw the same street on endless repeat, as though someone copied and pasted it across the horizon. The worst was when I woke in a room identical to mine, but everything was reversed. The doorknob on the left. My watch ticking backward. And on the wall, a photograph of me, asleep in the exact bed I had just risen from. Only, I wasn't alone in the picture. A figure stood behind me. Face obscured. One hand resting lightly on my shoulder. I stared at the photo for hours. When I blinked, the figure moved slightly. By the 4th blink, its hand was around my neck. I tore the picture down. But it was there again the next time I woke. I began testing reality. Drawing marks on the wall. Scratching codes into the floor. I left messages to myself, "This is dream number 8. If this is real, your finger will bleed. Knock 3 times. Listen." I knocked. Once, twice, thrice. Silence. Then, a knock in return. 4 times. I remember a day, or what I called a day, when I met someone. An old man with a scar over his left eye, wearing a coat that shimmered like water. He sat at a table in an endless library, flipping pages in a book with no words. He didn't look up when I spoke. But he replied. "You're close." "Close to what?" I asked. He smiled without warmth. "Waking up. Or giving in." I asked him if he was real. He said nothing. I reached for the book he was reading, but when I touched it, my hand passed through the pages as if they were smoke. On the inside cover, in my own handwriting, was one line, "You were never supposed to know." I looked up. The old man was gone. And so was the library. Somewhere, in one of these layers, dreams or realities, I remember a woman. She had soft hands and a laugh like bells, though I can't recall her name. We were walking through a field of ash trees, and she turned to me and said, "If I disappear, it's not because I left. It's because you stopped looking." When I asked her what that meant, she vanished mid-step. The trees bent toward me, whispering things I couldn't understand. I screamed again. And again, no sound. I started to lose my reflection. One morning, if it was morning, I stood before the mirror and there was nothing. No face. No form. Just the room behind me. But I was there. I could feel myself breathing, heart racing, cold sweat tracing my back. No reflection. Then, I saw something move in the mirror's corner. Not me. Not quite. A version of me, perhaps. With hollow eyes and a smile carved too deep. It raised its hand. I did not. It mouthed something. 3 words. I couldn't hear them. But I think I know what they were. "Let me in." Now I'm not sure which version of me is dreaming, or if either one is. Maybe all of them are. Each time I think I've awakened for real, something shifts. Slightly. A tick in the clock that shouldn't be there. My cup of tea on the wrong side of the table. My memories, fogged, like mist on glass. I keep thinking I'll find a door out. A pattern. A clue. But maybe this is it. Maybe the dream never ends. Or maybe, I never existed to begin with. I woke up again last night. The bed was softer this time. The air warm. But the mirror was gone. And in its place, was a doorway. It was open. I stood in front of it for a long while. I haven't stepped through. Not yet. I'm afraid I might wake up.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Thanks for listening.